Soften the body into the ground. Now checking your masses and spaces. Masses and spaces, think about the things that should touch the ground and ideally the things that should be off the ground. So starting with your head, noticing the weight of your head sitting back into the ground. Notice if the weight feels even or central over the shoulders. Ideally, the weight is behind the bridge of the nose. The space of the neck is the next spot. Notice if it feels elongated, compressed, or if it feels overly arched with your head back. Ideally, your neck feels long, nose pointing mostly to the sky. Next to the mass of your shoulders, into your arms, down to your lower rib wall. Ideally should feel like one space touching the ground. Giving you the concept of that stuck stress, which is just stress that builds in the body to kind of distort how your body feels or how you even move. And over time, it just gets more and more stuck, and then that becomes your normal. So stuck stress would be in your upper back and shoulders, would be maybe one shoulder feels pulled up or down, you feel bowed in your upper back, or one arm feels longer than the other or doesn't touch the ground evenly on both sides. Rib cage to navel ideally should still be a mass on the ground. If you have stuck stress that feels like an arch in your back, ideally also the space that actually should be belly button to pelvis should feel about the same space as your neck. Taking your attention to your pelvis, your thighs, your lower body. Ideally, your pelvis should feel level to the ground. If you have stuck stress, you may feel a bit tilted, overly tucked, or off position. Also, your hamstrings ideally should be touching the ground. If they're stuck stress, you may feel them bowed off the ground. Hamstrings are pretty challenging to notice for some people. The space behind your knees, evenly sized and shaped. Calves should be evenly touching the ground on both sides. The space between your ankle and really your foot, your true ankle, should just be evenly rounded, almost like the base of your neck, the small of your back. And then your feet, ideally, they should be slightly turned out to 10 and 2, not pointing forward, not just disorganized. Dividing the body now in half to equal sides, right and left sides. Just notice if one side feels longer, one side feels more weighted. This is your functional or your reflexive balance, what your body perceives your balance like when you're not trying to pay attention. Remember, your balance is there to support, protect, and stabilize you, as is the superficial fascial layer throughout the entire body. Let's take your roller and let's place it behind the legs. Just let your body rest on the roller. Ideally, you should feel the weight of your roller on this position in the middle of your thighs. And then let's just bring the legs in and out. You can think of a lower body jack position. You can also turn the toes out, turn the toes in. More of a twisting or a figure 8 motion. And then pause. Pick a leg to start with and do just the leg. Now remember, this motion is more of a twisting than just a swinging that leg from the hip. You want to do less than more and feel the pull of the tissue more so than the movement of the tissue in range of motion. Remember, with a melt roller, it's a roller per se, but it's for 3 different things very specifically. For you have a twisting, you have a gliding, you have what's called friction on the roller, and then of course you're going to have some rolling, but it's in small ranges of motion. And then the other leg back and forth, Again, you can do heel in and heel out. You can keep your foot parallel with the other foot. You're touching behind here, which also is affecting the sciatic nerve line, giving your body a lot of information, a lot of release of tension and stress. And then pause. So a gliding function is just a rolling, kind of one directional or a repeated directional movement. A true rolling would be up and down, just in one direction potentially. And then friction typically is more of a transverse movement, kind of twisting or moving, giving friction to the muscle, the superficial fascial layer of the body. Bring your heels in. Let's bring the hips up. And ideally your hips are level on the roller here. You want your fingertips to be able to be on your iliac crest, thumbs kind of roll around so that the hips are below the level of your SI joint, or the roller is below the level of your SI. Bring your right knee up, just make sure you can tolerate the weight. The left leg up, heels drop so you're not contracting the quadriceps. And then let's just keep those knees together and we're stirring. So again, another frictional move. This is called SI joint shear. And very often people have or feel like their pelvis is tilted or twisted. And ideally, melt is going to help restore hydration to the joints more so than really functioning the muscles. We did a lot of muscular work with mobility and with Superstretch. And then one more time all the way around. Bring your knees together, pause, and then you're going to do a small march. Now if you're on a harder roller, you can put something soft on it, or just make sure that you're going slow enough so you're not creating tension and pain, and or come on and off it more frequently. Go ahead and pause, bring those knees in. Let's drop both knees into your chest, give them a nice little tug. Hold underneath your right knee and then push your left. So you're gonna push and pull with your right knee and then push with your left. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Exhale, release. Do the same thing on the other side. Hold underneath the left knee, press into the right thigh. You're pushing out with the left knee, pulling in with the left hand, and meeting the pressure with your right hand. Inhale, exhale, come back to center. Just notice if the knees feel just a little more evenly weighted in. Hold once again underneath the right leg, extend the left, lower the left. The pelvis is gonna level itself out a little bit. Notice my foot's not hanging and taking me to the ground. I'm keeping my pelvis level, which makes my legs shoot out. My other leg is pulling strongly into my right shoulder. Left arm is going to go overhead, taking a deep breath, and then exhale, tuck your pelvis. Bring the knee and the hand back together. This next time I want you to turn your head away from your extending knee. Inhale, extend your leg up. Extend your arm overhead, but not to the ground. Keep some tension there. Pick your head up, look towards your right shoulder. Take a deep breath. Exhale, tuck your pelvis as you exhale. Inhale, head center, arm and leg back to the center. Take a deep breath. Again, if you're on a higher roller, you can take a moment. Bring those hips level. Bring your left knee into your hands, right leg up. Make sure that your right arm doesn't go to the ground as you lower your right leg out. Notice the difference. The reason why I set up is so I'm not just always thinking where I need to go. I'm letting my body kind of, oh, I'm a little bit more mobile here. Maybe I need to be a little bit more aware of this and not just let my leg hang. Take your right arm up. Keep the head centered for this first set. Exhale, tuck the pelvis. Inhale, bring the hand back to the knee. You can kind of Reset for a second. Again, pull that elbow, pull that knee to the chest, extend your right leg. This time we'll take the head to the left, right arm overhead, head to the left, take a deep breath, and then tuck your pelvis. Shh, as you exhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, head center, and then bring the knees into the chest. Drop your right foot and left foot. Lift your hips up. Take the roller out from underneath us. Let's do a real quick reassess. Notice even from, you worked the lower half of the body, and then, but you might notice differences in the upper half of the body. Notice if your hips feel a little bit more loose, you might even feel like you're more sunk into a kind of an invisible hole. Head and shoulders may feel more level, more even. Notice that divide amongst down the midline of the body that feels more even or more level on both sides as well. So we want to be able to differentiate when we move an area, can we affect another area? Can we find this area getting work? And that's how the body adjusts anyway. So it's giving ourselves a better concept or understanding of how our body even relates to itself. Slide your feet in. We're gonna roll. We're gonna bring that roller. I'm gonna do it from this side. Take the roller to your hip. Hip is high, and then lift yourself up onto the roller. Double check the roller to make sure you're fully on the roller, so you're not even tipping off the bottom or your head's not tipping off the top. We're gonna finish with a rebalance sequence. Just drop your arms side to side. Your body is lined up right through the center on the roller. So the roller is not moving side to side. You are tilting to the right and to the left, or another variation of a gentle rock, right and left. One of the beautiful things about this is the soft roller can touch really just your entire spine. It's not touching your cervical spine, which is totally fine. And your pelvis may be level enough so that you're not touching all of your small of your back. But you're getting a lot of contact points on your spine, which is a lot of information of safety, of how your body's responding, of how your organs are doing. It is your vestibular balance, that ability to stay centered, that ability to stay balanced right and left, inside out, in the organs, and your thoughts even. And then pause in the middle. Take your thumbs, place your thumbs at your navel, index finger right at the top of the pelvis or the base of the pelvis before it goes through the legs, and then fingers kind of in this bowl right here. And just let the weight of your hands settle in. And then without pushing into your feet or gripping with your glutes, inhale, exhale, you're going to tuck the pelvis, let the heel of the hands kind of sink with it. Inhale, exhale, tilt the pelvis. Inhale and tuck. You can see I'm not lifting off the roller. I'm just doing a gentle kind of forward top and bottom rock. And it is a smaller motion, so it may be hard to see. You're affecting the base of the skull, the erector spinae, the muscles that are the levers for the back. One more tuck, or from here, last time to tilt, level. Let's keep the left hand on your belly, take the right hand to your chest. Big breath, and then let your hands settle into your body. Breathe into your rib cage. So breathing is obviously the most amazing thing that our body can do for itself, but it can resettle your body. It can help your diaphragm kind of breathe to give you evenness between the top half and the bottom half of your body. It helps the diaphragms throughout your body, so the base of the pelvis, the middle diaphragm, the diaphragm at the neck, so you're breathing easier, you're swallowing, you're digesting easier. You have more capacity to release your organs and move your organs, and then the pelvic floor is receiving that nice dynamic motion as well for elimination, reproductive organ movement. From here, take your hands to your rib wall. Breathe into them wide, so you're not lifting your chest, you're not rising your belly. And then take your hands out, so you can see my elbows touching the ground. Then from there, you're gonna reach away from the midline of your body. And then just drop your right wrist, curl your left in, curl your left wrist in, drop your right. So imagining that I have a small weight in each hand and I'm letting that weight settle. Or I could think of tossing a ball from right to left. Or you can even think of, just a whooshing pattern back and forth. Something gently being rocked by the waves of the ocean. Roll your wrists. Open your wrist. Open, lift the elbows, and then reach your hands as far away from one another as you can, and then bring your hands towards your center, exhaling, and then fingertips towards the sky. Breathing from here, take both arms overhead until your arms or fingers are out of eye line, and then circle around towards your thighs. So double arm circles overhead. Again, just like we did in circles earlier, you might notice that there's clicking, cracking, or popping in your shoulders. Just change the range of motion or the speed. 2 more. Inhale, exhale. Last time, inhale and exhale. One hand over the head, and then switch. And switch. And switch. 2 more. Pull as if you're reaching your hands towards your feet, and you're keeping your armpits, so you're not letting your shoulders hike. One more time, right arm overhead and left. Bring both hands back to the center, almost like you're gonna reach towards just above your knees, and then soften the shoulder blades into the roller. Reach out and soften back. Reach out and soften back. 2 more. And last one. Let your elbows drop, hands drop. Release one leg to extension. Roll to that side. Let the roller come out from underneath you gently. And then lay back on your roller. And we'll do just a settled reassessment. Palms are towards the sky. You may notice immediately that kind of guttering between the middle of the shoulder blades. But then again, let's assess or reassess the body and that masses and spaces. Know your head, the weight of your head feels more even, more level, more grounded. The space at your shoulders, it feels a little bit more plumped or just a little bit more even, less extension, less even height of your neck maybe, ideally for releasing some stuck stress. Shoulders to arms down into your rib cage as well. Your arms feel more level, more even. The ribs, the shoulder blades to ribs down on the mat. How's that back arch doing? Nice and level from your ribs to your belly button, with a small back arch that should be there from your belly button to your pelvis. Ideally now your hips feel more evenly weighted. Hamstrings may feel more aware. Back with knees feel more even. Calves settled. Small arch behind the ankle, even in shape and size, ideally. And then maybe your feet feel more level, more even, less pointed or disorganized. All these different things are nice being A, aware, be just making connections and see, so you know intentionally what to do, giving yourself intentional breathing, intentional movements to really find the balance in your body. Divide the body in those two equal halves. Feel the right and the left side, and just kind of notice what you feel now. Does it feel more even? Like the right is a mimic almost of the left, not just a different body altogether. 2 nice long deep breaths. Slide your feet in so your shins are vertical. Take one arm overhead, roll to that side. Pause on your side for a second. Deep breath. Use your top hand to bring yourself up. Let yourself move as your design is. Move in balance, move in ease, move with a sense of awareness.